From our studio located in Madison, New Jersey, this is Real Good News.
I'm like the man they call a seeker. I'm a real truth speaker, and I always cut right to the core. And you know I really ask, cause I get right to the facts and get the answer to what I'm looking for. I can pronto beg a liar, I'm a tireless and quiet. I've been a theorist thinker since my youth. My motives on above ground. I've always been a bloodhound for the truth. The truth. You can learn.
Welcome back to another episode of Real Good News, your local news show for Northern New Jersey. I'm your host, Georgette Castro, reminding you to please subscribe to our channel and remember to like and share. As always, we will be bringing you your local news stories from Morris and Union counties. Plus, we have these stories for you as well.
Coming up on Real Good News, this spring as families gather for Mother's Day and wine lovers nationwide prepare to celebrate National Wine Day on May 25th, one option you might not be thinking about are the wines of Israel. From heartfelt family meals to celebratory toasts, Israeli wines bring together history, innovation, and a vibrant Mediterranean spirit. I'm Steve Lubetkin, and I'll have that story later on Real Good News.
I'm Alan Swanson, and today I'm taking a look at mail-in voting and put to rest some of the misconceptions surrounding it.
On April 27, I had the pleasure to be attending the Taste of Madison at the Madison Hotel as a guest of the Madison Downtown Development Committee, who runs the event along with the Madison Chamber of Commerce and the Madison Rotary Club. Working alongside Brian Mortensen from Mortonville Productions and Mayor Robert Connolly, I helped raise funds for the wine pool event. Overall, the Taste of Madison was a huge success with record turnout. Thank you for the groups that made this event possible and for all the restaurants and wineries that participated and the Madison Hotel for hosting a one-of-a-kind experience. And now, here is Lisa Allen and Xavier Reed with your local news covering Morris and Union counties.
Our House Inc., a nonprofit, has leased approximately 26,000 square feet of office space at 41 Spring Street in New Providence to serve as its new headquarters and day program facility. Operating in New Jersey since 1980, Our House provides services to adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities through its day program and employment services. The day program offers personalized life skill coaching, volunteer and recreational activities, and their employment services include paid jobs, unpaid positions, and internships. The New Providence location houses research and development, technology, and office tenants. The property features a cafeteria, fitness center, loading docks, and outdoor seating areas. Their mission is to provide healthy, stimulating, and inclusive environments for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and this new location would allow them to reach more people.
On April 22nd, Morris County celebrated Earth Day with a ceremonial tree planting. 2 eastern redbud trees were planted at Morris View Healthcare Center by the Morris County Shade Tree Division along with other organizations. The planting site was prepared beforehand, and the trees, which were donated by Atlantic Health System, came from Serbo's Parsippany Treehouse. However, the celebration didn't stop there. Later that day, at the Board of County Commissioners public meeting, Peter Nietzsche, who heads up the Rutgers Cooperative Extension of Morris County, was presented an Earth Day 2026 proclamation. The meeting also included a presentation from Gina Piffin, another Rutgers Cooperative Extension member, on the Rutgers Environmental Stored Volunteer Program. The program, which was established 20 years ago, provides volunteers with lessons and training to tackle environmental challenges through community-based projects, with 333 such projects having been completed with over 100 partner organizations since the program's inception. Director Shaw of the Morris County Board of County Commissioners also acknowledged the impact made by the Morris County Open Space and Farmland Preservation Trust Fund. For years, Morris County has been dedicated to the preservation of natural spaces, with thousands of acres of open space and farmland preserved to the date. This Earth Day, they reaffirmed that dedication.
Union County has hit its goal for the 2025-2026 Deer Management Program, which resulted in providing more than 11,000 meals for families in need. The Community Food Bank of New Jersey gets the venison through partnership it has with Union County. Union County pays for the cost to process the deer meat, which this year was 3,000 pounds. The venison is processed under strict state guidelines for high quality and safety standards, and then the Community Food Bank of New Jersey distributes it to over 800 of its community partners and provides recipes and cooking instructions for the venison. Although the number of deer killed was lower this year than it was last year in the county and statewide, the program is still working in supporting population management and venison donation efforts. Union County donates almost 3,000 pounds of venison to food banks after the hunt.
Last month, Morris County celebrated the 9th anniversary of the County Sheriff's Office mobile outreach, Hope One. Launched in 2017, Hope One provides support in the form of trained professionals to those in Morris County struggling with addiction and mental health. The program is extensively partnered with the Sheriff's Office, the Morris County Department of Human Services, the Mental Health Association, and the Center for Addiction Recovery, Education, and Success. Additionally, the Board of County Commissioners supports the initiative through funding which goes toward prevention, recovery resources, naloxone training, homelessness assistance, and prevention. Hope One has led to the creation of other programs such as the Police Assisted Addiction and Recovery Initiative and Community Connections. Hope One's success has even led 9 other New Jersey counties to create similar mobile outreach programs of their own. On April 8th, Morris County Commissioner Director Stephen H. Shaw, Sheriff James N. Gannon, and Prosecutor Robert J. Carroll all spent time at Calvary Baptist Church to participate in Hope One's 9th anniversary. Although the event was intended to be a traditional symposium, it instead became a community resource fair, with over 30 local service providers present to inform attendees about other types of support they can access. If you or someone you know is struggling with substance abuse or mental health, please take note of the resources shown on your screen.
The Union County Board of Commissioners is pleased to announce that the 2026 seasonal recycling events will continue this May, featuring a variety of programs designed to help residents recycle unwanted, expired, or hazardous items to promote sustainable waste management practices in the community. Union County's free paper shredding events give residents a secure and convenient way to dispose of personal documents on site. Events run from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. or until trucks reach capacity. The paper shredding events will be on May 9th at New Providence Community Pool parking lot and May 15th at the Hillside Pool parking lot. There are also scrap metal recycling events on May 7th and May 16th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. There are 2 locations available for both dates, Rahway River Park Services Yard and the Union County Police Emergency Service Complex. For more information on Union County's recycling programs, visit their website on the screen or call them on their hotline at 908-654-9889.
For those looking to get some spring cleaning done, the Madison Rotary Club has just the event for you. On Saturday, May 30th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., the Madison Rotary Club will be hosting a paper shredding event in the parking lot at the corner of Kings Road and Maple Avenue. Residents can bring financial documents, professional paperwork, and personal documents that will be securely shredded on site. The event is also meant to serve as a fundraiser, with a suggested donation being accepted. All proceeds will go to supporting the Madison Rotary Club's charitable programs, which support the Madison community in various ways, offering locals a way to protect their personal information and give back to their hometown.
The Union County Board of County Commissioners invites seniors and caregivers to the upcoming Aging Services kiosk events in May to explore the wide range of senior programs and resources available. These events allow attendees to meet face-to-face with experienced professionals who can provide expert guidance and assistance with a variety of services, including form completion. Bilingual assistance will be available. The Aging Services kiosk offers adults age 60 and older, along with their caregivers, a friendly and convenient avenue to discover valuable programs and services and speak individually with a division on aging professional. Any Union County senior or caregiver can visit regardless of their hometown. The upcoming Ask events will be on May 5th in Union Public Library and on May 13th in Clark Public Library. Both events will be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. There's no appointment or pre-registration needed.
Morris County has officially set its 2026 Memorial Day observance. On Wednesday, May 20th, Morris County residents can gather on Court Street between the Morris County Courthouse and the Administration and Records Building in Morristown for the county's annual Memorial Day observance. The ceremony is set to start at 12 noon and will be live streamed on the county's Facebook page. The event will include a special commemoration honoring Continental Army soldiers who lost their lives at Jockey Hollow in recognition of the nation's 250th anniversary. Additionally, Morris County Distinguished Military Service Medals will be presented to local veterans. Over 10,000 of these distinct medals have been presented to veterans or their families since Morris County started its medal program in 1999. The keynote speaker of this year's observance will be James Ferguson, resident of Mountain Lakes and a Vietnam veteran who also attained the rank of lieutenant while serving in the Naval Reserve in New York. Ferguson has received several medals for his service, including the Vietnam Service Medal and the National Defense Service Medal. At this time, the Morris County Office of Planning and Preservation is also working on a Veterans Compendium project to recognize those who served in the war in Afghanistan, which began 25 years ago on October 7th. The project is currently seeking submissions from those who served in the conflict or their families. To learn more about the project and how to make a submission, please visit the link shown on your screen. For Real Good News, I'm Xavier Reed.
In celebration of America's 250th anniversary, the Union County Board of County Commissioners, through the Office of Cultural and Heritage Affairs, are holding a lecture, New Jersey's Revolutionary Rivalry, The Untold Story of Colonel Ty and Captain Huddy. It will be presented by author Rick Gefkin. Gefkin will explore the intense and complex rivalry between Colonel Ty, a formerly enslaved man who became a loyalist leader, and Captain Joshua Huddy, a prominent figure in the Monmouth County militia. Their conflict reflects the deeply divided loyalties and the personal stakes that define the Revolutionary War in New Jersey. The event will take place on Wednesday, May 13th, 2026 at 12 p.m. at the Elizabeth Public Library. The event is free and open to the public. Attendees are encouraged to register in advance through the link shown on your screen. The Rotary Club of Mountainside invited Holocaust survivor Maud Dahm to the Borough Community Center to share her presentation, Hidden Child. A hidden child was a Jewish child concealed during the Holocaust. Often they were given a new name, a false identity, and placed with families willing to risk death to save them. Dahm was 6.5 years old, and her sister was only 4.5. They were separated from their parents in the Netherlands and sent to a farm to live with strangers, a married couple with no children of their own who took them in so that Maud and her sister could survive. Years later, when the war ended, Dahm and her sister were reunited with their parents. But after so much time apart, it wasn't easy. She also spoke about extended family members who were murdered at the Sobibor German death camp in Poland. Her family later immigrated to the United States in 1950 and began rebuilding their lives once again. Now 90, Dahm continues to teach younger generations what happened and why it must never be forgotten, and how courage and kindness can exist even in the darkest of times. When asked if she carried any anger, Dahm said she chooses gratitude. "I'm so happy to be alive that I'm here," she said. Today, she points to her 4 children, 9 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren as proof of what survival made possible. And with Real Good News, I'm Lisa Allen.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and in recognition of this, Mayor Robert Connolly presented Jennifer Stone with the Joyful Shop with a proclamation declaring May to be Mental Health Awareness Month. Let's watch.
Now therefore, we, the mayors of the communities of Berkeley Heights, Fanwood, Long Hill, Mountainside, New Providence, Scotch Plain, Summit, Westfield, Chatham, Florham Park, Madison, Mendenboro, Menden Township, and Livingston do hereby proclaim May 2026 as Mental Health Awareness Month. We proudly support the ongoing work of New Jersey Crosstown Mental Health Coalition, whose collaboration across our communities reflects the power of partnerships in promoting mental health awareness, education, and advocacy. And through sharing initiatives such as Paint the Town Green campaign, we visibly demonstrate our collective commitment to reducing stigma and supporting those impacted with mental health challenges. So again, thank you for coming here and wearing your green. So if you will.
Thank all of you for being so supportive and now the Multi-Town Coalition, who will be painting so many 14 towns green in collaboration with each other, and all of the programming that everyone is doing. And now we have, a real visual sign to people who may be struggling that there is, a community behind them. So there will be signs for people to hang in their businesses. I'll be visiting all of the businesses on Main Street tomorrow and getting those hung. We'll have ribbons going up tomorrow evening at 4 p.m. by the students in our community. We want to really make this count. So if you want to get involved, please reach out to us. And thank you, as always, for always supporting all of us as we go through these struggles for ourselves and our families.
As you heard, the Paint the Town Green, it's an initiative that includes 14 towns and municipalities to raise awareness and show support for Mental Health Awareness Month. Jennifer Stone, who was the woman who received the proclamation, runs the Joyful Shop in Madison, where this past weekend, the support network of Madison hosted its Paint the Town Green event, bringing families and neighbors together for an afternoon centered around mental health awareness. But beyond the activities and music, the real impact was what the event created for the community. Events like this help break down the stigma around mental health in a natural way, not through lectures, but through connection. They remind people that support does not have to be complicated. It can start with simply being present, being kind, and building spaces where everyone feels like they belong. Also honored at the Wednesday evening council meeting was Madison Borough Clerk Elizabeth Osborne, who was recognized this week for her service and dedication to the community. The recognition comes as municipalities across New Jersey highlight the important role of municipal clerk, whose work keep local government running smoothly behind the scenes. From managing public records to supporting electronic and borough operation, Elizabeth Osborne played a key role in ensuring transparency and consistency in Madison's day-to-day function. Moments like this offer a chance to recognize the steady work that often goes unseen, but is essential to keeping a community informed, organized, and connected. Right now, the way people are living in New Jersey is changing, and it's starting to show up in homes they are buying. From rising houses costs to more families living under one roof, today's buyers are looking for flexibility like never before. Diane Smith-Kirks takes a look from one surprising trend that is gaining traction, and that says a lot about where the market is heading.
If you've been trying to buy a home lately, you already know it's tough. Prices are up, inventory is tight, and there's a lot more competition for every home. Millennials are now the largest group of buyers, but they're not just competing with each other. They're also up against baby boomers who often have more cash to spend. So people are getting creative. Families are pooling resources, parents are helping with down payments, and we're seeing more homes designed for multi-generational living, like dual primary suites and shared spaces. So what's really driving this shift, especially here in Essex and Union counties? Well, we asked a local real estate expert, Meg Mullen at Caldwell Banker, to break it down.
That's a great question. What has changed over the past few years? I started in this business 12 years ago and things were remarkably different. It's always been competitive in the Morris, Essex, Union County areas, but recently it's just become 5 times more competitive. I know there's a few factors that are influencing that. One is that we have millennials who are amazing people, but they're also the largest demographic to move through life since basically the baby boomers. So for once, I'm glad to be Gen X because millennials have to compete against Gen X, against even baby boomers who are buying homes right now. Baby boomers are buying second and third homes to be close to their grandchildren, and millennials have to compete against them for first-time homes for that Cape Cod with the ground floor bedroom that a lot of downsizers might want. They're competing against them for the, the little colonials. And a lot of times people who are selling something or further along in life, they have a lot of money to throw at these things. And millennials and like younger people, we're working with 20% down. So it's become increasingly more difficult for younger people, the younger cohort, to buy homes in this specific area. I think that is what's driving a lot of the multi-generational living, because in many cases, parents are helping their children with a down payment. Let's face it, it must be so much nicer to be able to help your kids and see them enjoy and thrive with your money than to leave it to them after you pass away. So a lot of times with that gift comes the expectation that there's going to be a place for mom and dad or Aunt Margaret or whoever's in your family. That's, pulling resources. What's driving a lot of the multi-generational living and dual primary bedroom suites and other things like that is really the fact that families are coming together, they're pulling their resources, and they're sharing living spaces.
So while the market may be challenging, it's also pushing people to think differently about space, about family, and about what home really looks like today. For Real Good News, I'm Diane Smith-Kirsch.
And now it's time to hear from our good friend Kate Churchello-Tente from healthyinthegardenstate.com.
A Dose of Health is here to bring you insights and information from health experts across New Jersey, all in 15 minutes or less. I'm Kate Churchello-Tente, certified fitness professional and host of Healthy in the Garden State. And this A Dose of Health mini-series is part of our mission to bring you as many of the health resources here in New Jersey as we can. Do we really need to wear sunscreen every day? So how about we just start right there?
Let's jump right in. No, we do need to wear sunscreen every single day. The truth is the sun's rays come through whether or not you're feeling it on your skin. And so wearing it every day helps prevent the long-term damages of the rays hitting our skin in moments where we might not even be realizing it. So you can get skin damage even though you're not physically burning.
The overall estimates are that close to 3 billion pounds of food goes to waste in New Jersey every year, while we have almost 1.1 million neighbors, including 270,000 kids who struggle with food insecurity. So when we're able to connect those dots and get the systems in place to rescue that surplus food and get it to the communities where it is needed, we're really solving two significant problems and creating, a healthier future for all of us, and especially for those people who are struggling to be able to afford the healthy food they need.
Until next time, I'm Kate Churchello-Tente, and this is A Dose of Health. If you enjoyed these mini-sodes of A Dose of Health, check out Healthy in the Garden State, our full episodes highlighting the health and wellness happening here in New Jersey.
We are grateful for Kate's work and invite you to check out healthyinthegardenstate.com at the end of today's show. And here is Steve Lubeckin from State Broadcast News.
Thanks, Georgette. This spring, as families gather for Mother's Day and wine lovers nationwide prepare to celebrate National Wine Day on May 25th, one option you might not be thinking about are the wines of Israel. Israeli wines offer a meaningful and memorable way to elevate the moment. From heartfelt family meals to celebratory toasts, Israeli wines bring together history, innovation, and a vibrant Mediterranean spirit, perfect for honoring the people and occasions that matter most. From the lush vineyards of the Upper Galilee to the rolling hills of Judea and the surrounding mountains around Jerusalem, Israel's diverse wine regions are producing bottles that reflect both place and purpose. These wines are increasingly recognized on the global stage for their quality, character, and unmistakable identity, bridging ancient tradition with modern excellence. The Israeli Wine Producers Association represents nearly 40 wineries across Israel, uniting boutique estates and leading producers under one banner to educate, inspire, and introduce U.S. consumers to Israel's world-class wines. Together, they showcase a category that is both deeply rooted and evolving. Joining us today is Joshua Greenstein, founder and executive vice president of the Israeli Wine Producers Association. He's also the chief marketing officer of Royal Wine. Josh, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. Tell us a little bit about the Israeli Wine Producers Association. How did it get started, and what's the role that it plays in the wine industry here in the U.S. and elsewhere around the world?
First of all, thank you for having me, Steve. And I've been representing Israeli wines here in the United States for almost 15 years now. And the IWPA is an outlet for the Israeli wineries here in the U.S. to represent themselves and to showcase their stories, their wines, and their here in the U.S. through wine and through be able to tasting it in many other situations.
And why is it important for Israeli wine producers to be promoting their wines in the United States?
Israel has been growing wine for over 5,000 years, and it's something that they just got recognized for being good at. So they've been on a long time. So it's out there promoting brand Israel and showcasing the fun, the amazing, the good things coming out of the country. This is a great way to showcase food and wine, which go hand in hand. In my situation, I get to run around and talk about the wine, but it's the opportunity to showcase something that's been done there for thousands of years and the great stories that have come along with it.
What made you decide to get involved with the Wine Producers Association?
Me, wine is all about the people and the stories behind the brand. There's so many great wineries out there today in the world producing amazing quality wines, but it's what makes them unique and different is their story, and Israel has a lot of it. And it's my job to be able to run around and tell the story. So the stories that I hear from some of these wineries and winemakers from the history about their wines, it makes my job fun and amazing to be able to run around and tell these stories.
So, what are some of the things that people should know about the wines in Israel and how they compare to wines from more familiar places that people are used to getting their wines, like France, Italy, Australia, and even California?
So, it's the fact that they've been doing it for so long is what makes them so good at it. They've learned from all the ways of doing it, and they finally have gotten to a point now where they've embraced technology. Technology is this thing that we embrace throughout our lives and everything that we do. Some countries don't allow wine to embrace technology just because they're following ancient laws and rules and regulations, such as France and other places. But in Israel, they're saying, bring it on. Let's try new things. We can't get enough water to our plant. Let's invent drip irrigation. And this was one of the ways that Israel says, you know what, we can't do it. Let's figure out a way to make it better. And here we are.
As I understand it, there's something also about the climate in the Mediterranean that helps create interesting wines. Talk a little bit about that.
Grapes are meant to be stressed out a little bit. They want those hot, hot, hot days and those cool, cool, cool nights. And Israel has that. Israel has it. Even though it's a small country, it has many of those microclimates throughout the country. And those hot days and cool nights, those stressful lives for those grapes are good for it. And that's what produces better quality grapes, and really the way that the grapes are grown is for that to happen to them, for them to get days, for them to be all pumped up and ready to go and enjoy the sun. And at the night to chill out, calm down, relax, and do it again the next day. And that's what really produces really high quality wine.
Now, I know that Israel is obviously producing the traditional varieties of wine that people are familiar with. Are there any unique to Israel wines that people might want to explore?
Sure. I mean, that's one of my favorite things to talk about is the fact that there are some weird, fun stuff coming out of Israel from a grape side of things. That if you read a book called the Bible, in the Bible they mention grapes and wine many, many times throughout it. And they talk about using it in dyeing clothes and drinking and doing all different types of things with it. They found this grape to be a certain color, a crimson color. So scientists a few years back decided to recreate this grape. It's called argamon. It's a genetically blend of Carignan and Suzo. And argamon is representing this grape from the Bible, from this biblical time, this dark crimson wine grape that's now used in blending and sold by itself. There's Cabernet and Chardonnay and Merlot as well, because Cab is king and you need these wines. There's people playing with so many fun, new, innovative things that are really helping grow the industry over there.
And I think there are some wineries that are getting some recognition there too. Or there's some that you can mention that people should look for when they're looking for the labels?
Yeah, I think that the fact that Israel is getting its respect finally that it deserves is part of the mainstream now. For example, James Suckling just had an event in Shiloh Winery, was the only winery from Israel at the whole event. You see the whole map of the whole place, and has every flag, and there's one from Israel on there. It just shows you that the ability of the wineries are getting so much better that they're getting the attention of the beverage industry and the beverage media.
So the wineries are, as you've mentioned, often a tourism experience. Is there an opportunity for people to visit the Israeli wineries if they decide to go to the Middle East when the time is right?
Sure. Yeah. These wineries are a great place to visit. I love leading trips to Israel. I love bringing people over there with me. One of my favorite things about Israel is bringing people that have never been and seeing the reaction on their face when they go to a holy site for whatever religion they are. So visiting these wineries is a great way to break up your day when running around and touring Israel from so many different ways of seeing it. A winery is a very fun, chill, relaxed way and educational as well.
And for folks who aren't planning a trip to Israel, are there places, where can people in the U.S. find wines that are promoted by your Israeli Wine Producers Association?
I work with 40 different wineries in Israel, here in the U.S. But, one of the things people always say, hey, where can we get it? Where is it available? At this point, we're still growing. We're still trying to grow and expand and let people know that we're here. So all the people that are listening, they should go to one of their restaurants or stores and say, hey, you know what? I'm looking around and I don't see anything from Israel. Can we change that?
Joshua Greenstein is the founder and executive vice president of the Israeli Wine Producers Association. Josh, thanks very much for being with us on the program today.
Thanks again. Thanks for having me.
For updates, education, and winery highlights, follow at Israeli Wine on social media and visit iwpa.com. And that'll wrap things up for this segment from State Broadcast News in Cherry Hill. I'm Steve Lubetkin. Georgette, back to you.
And now here's our very own Alan Swetson.
A common news item these days has been the issue of voter fraud, and in particular, vote by mail. Today, I want to talk to you about vote by mail in New Jersey. But first, a few facts. Vote by mail is allowed in some form in all 50 states. 14 states require a reason to be voting by mail or absentee. The other 36 states do not require an excuse or a reason, including New Jersey. Second, over 25% of voters cast their ballots by mail across the country, and that number is increasing. Third, the process for obtaining a vote by mail ballot varies somewhat from state to state. There are 8 states in which every registered voter receives a mail-in ballot. Here in New Jersey, we have a growing number of voters using vote by mail. In 2024 and 2025, approximately 25% of ballots were cast by mail in New Jersey. I'm now going to walk you through the vote by mail process in New Jersey. First, you do not get a mail-in ballot unless you apply for it. You must fill out an application. The application requires that you are a registered voter, and when the application is received at the county clerk's office, it is verified for all the identifying information against the existing registered voter rolls. Your signature, which was required when you registered, is also compared with the application. Any discrepancy results in a rejection of the application until any questions are resolved. You may select if you want to vote for all elections by mail or a particular election that is upcoming. After your application is approved, your name is added to the list to receive a vote by mail ballot. Mail-in ballots begin to be sent out 45 days before the date of an election. Now, let's look at an actual mail-in ballot for the upcoming primary on June 2nd. When you open the ballot envelope, you will find 2 envelopes and your ballot. The first envelope is referred to as the Certificate of Mail-in Voter. You are required to fill in your identifying information and place your signature under the following statement. I hereby certify, subject to the penalties for fraudulent voting, I am the person who applied for the enclosed ballot for the election. I marked and sealed this ballot and certificate in secret. If you were assisted in completing the ballot, the person who assisted you must fill in their information on the certificate. Once the envelope is completed, you are prepared to fill out the ballot. This is the ballot. The instructions to do so are on the back of the ballot. The ballot contains no identifying information about who sent it in. Once you complete the ballot, you transfer it to the certificate envelope and follow the directions for sealing the ballot. The sealed envelope is then enclosed in the Board of Election envelope that you can send into the county. No postage necessary. There are, though, 3 options for getting your ballot to the Board of Elections. First, you can mail it through the United States Postal Service. The ballot must be postmarked on Election Day. Just to be sure, I would mail the ballot several days prior to Election Day to make sure it's postmarked properly. Second, you may place your ballot in one of the vote-by-mail drop boxes. These boxes are all across the state, and each one has a 24-hour video camera to assure no tampering takes place that is not recorded. Third, you can permit someone else to take your envelope into the Board of Elections, or you could take it yourself. If someone else takes it, they have to fill in their information. No one person may assist more than 3 persons. This is designed to prevent what is referred to as vote harvesting, a practice where someone collects the votes and does not submit them. Once the ballot is received by the Board of Elections, the identifying information on the sealed certificate is checked, including the signature. Once that information is verified, the sealed ballot with no more information regarding who sent it in is placed in a secure location until it can be counted. When the votes are counted, there is 0 information identifying anything about the voter on the ballot. Your vote remains secret. Now, when people bring up vote by mail in a discussion, you know how the process works in New Jersey. It does vary somewhat from state to state. The issue of mail-in ballot security and all security in voting has been explored by multiple think tanks and groups. Every study to date, whether from a conservative think tank or a liberal group, has concluded that voter fraud in our elections is extremely rare. And when I say extremely rare, I mean a handful in tens of millions of votes. I won't go further because that issue is a topic for an entire commentary and more. Hopefully, we can make that happen right here on Real Good News. I'm Alan Swanson. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Real Good News. Join us again on May 17 when we return with another episode. Until then, I'm Georgette Castro with a reminder that real good news is worth sharing. Bye-bye.
Now, Allah is halfway around the world. For the truth can put on its pants. Tell the truth. So my mission without fail is helping you prevail. You got to give the truth a fighting chance. Tell the truth. Beauty's truth, truth is beauty, and it's my civic duty to always write a reality. More than love, money, fame, more than rip on your good name.
I'll tell you something else about the truth, it will
Set you free.